Do you smell that?
Yeah, I do.
We were getting this strong taste of iron in the air.
What do you think that is?
I have no idea.
It smells like there's blood close by, but we didn't know where.
If you open a package of beef and you get that fresh smell of blood you just get the beef from the butchers, that's what we were getting.
I think it's coming from over there, though. Here, I'm gonna go check it out.
Well, wait a minute.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
We had to figure that there must have been a fresh deer kill right near our campsite. I said, I'm gonna walk down there and see what I can find.
It was very odd. As a note of transparency, I'm not a kind of person that I get feelings in the woods. I'm not that person that says, I feel like I'm being watched. But I started smelling that blood, and I started for the first time ever getting a creeped out feeling. That's a new feeling for me. At that moment in time, he turned and looked at me, and his eyeballs went boom.
My adrenaline was pumping through me. I was scared, I was shocked. I see my dad, and behind him was this very large black humanoid figure that completely dwarfed him. It almost entirely blacked out our campfire. Because of that, I was able to fully see its general shape and how tall it really was. When something that's 9-10 feet tall weighs almost 1,000 pounds, is no more than 10 feet away from you, it's scary. You know, I was genuinely afraid of this thing.
He was literally within an arm's length of me. He could have done anything he wanted to do to me at that point. He could have reached out, he could have snapped my neck, he could have smacked me out of the way. He could have done anything. He didn't. He just walked through.
After a couple seconds of me just staring completely stunned at him, we couldn't hear anything. We started looking around for evidence like footprints or tree breaks, structures. And we figured out that there was this large brush pile right next to our campsite.
We saw behind the brush pile where long grass had been pressed down, like something had been squatting there watching us. And I just happened to be standing in the way.
All right, we gotta go.
We turned off all the lights. And that's when I saw the silhouette of like a humanoid thing, but it certainly wasn't human.
It looked like, from what I was seeing with the long face, like it could have been like a snout.
Nobody human would look like that, honestly. Like, it didn't make any sense to me at all, but it was at my window.
It was like something out of a Stephen King book. It wasn't anything normal people would experience. We never even thought to wake up our dad. We didn't think he would believe us. My heart felt like it was gonna burst right out of my chest.
The handle started to turn, and I realized that it wasn't locked.
I again was frozen in fear.
I had to do something right then and there. And that's when we quickly grabbed the handle and we locked it as quick as we could. And then I heard my grandpa's voice mimic from it. And it mimicked my grandpa's voice almost perfectly, trying to tell me that I should let him in and that I was being disrespectful, basically, for not letting him in the house, even though he was all the way in North Carolina.
Brian, open the door.
No, don't. I had heard from my grandparents that it does need permission of some sort before it can enter. It can't come in unless you explicitly tell it, you're welcome here.
I didn't know what to do or what to make of it at first. I mean, I've never been in that situation, so it honestly scared the crap out of me.
It was big. Compared to me, I'd say, you know, it had to have been 3 foot taller than me. I was the closest one to it. He was probably 20 to 25 feet from me. I didn't know what it was. All I knew was that it was a big, hairy, ugly thing. Kind of like a mixture between a man and a gorilla. I was in terror. I was scared to death. I kind of lost track of time there for a second. It was coming in my direction. I think I was in shock because I didn't hear anything for, I'm not sure how long it was. My stepbrother, Jesse, I heard him say something.
Let's go. Let's go.
And all of them were piling in his car. The car cranked up, and I turned back around to look to see where they had all went. I didn't even hear them get up. I didn't hear them take off running toward the car. I didn't hear anybody say run. And before I could get to the car, they took off. They just left me. I was shocked, just left me there. I was thinking, how could they leave me? Wait, y'all forgot me. I felt like, oh no, I'm fixing to die and nobody's ever gonna see me again. Now, I wasn't sticking around to find out if it was gonna be friend or foe. I mean, everybody else had took off, and so I took off. I just decided it was time to get the heck out of Dodge. I ran after the car. I hollered, but they didn't hear me holler. The whole time I was thinking, you know, they left me. That just kept going over and over in my head. From where we were at the bonfire to our house was a quarter of a mile. I was running as fast as I could. My heart was beating 1,000,000 miles an hour. I thought it was trying to catch me for sure. I went to climb the fence and my shorts got caught, ripped my shorts wide open. I had a big, long scratch on the inside of my thigh. I looked back toward where I'd run from, and the thing was coming at me. It was running upright on 2 feet. I think it thought it could catch me before I got to the house. I was crying. I was, you know, in hysterics. I don't remember. I remember talking to myself, but I can't remember what I said. I was just freaked out. It could rip me to pieces, but I wasn't gonna give it a chance to find out. I was a pretty quick kid. I didn't figure this thing was gonna catch me if I ran my fastest. When I looked back going across the woods, it seemed like it was getting a little closer and a little closer each time I looked. And I was freaking out. It was definitely keeping up with me. I thought I was gonna die. I really did. I thought the thing was gonna catch me and kill me.
I had that uneasy feeling, that sixth sense that you get that something's not right. And the smell is just even worse now. I'm looking down there, I notice a shape. This shape all of a sudden begins to move. And he looks at me, he postures to me like, this is my area. Don't come down here. And he begins to teeter from one side to the other side. And his eyes were black as pieces of charcoal. And he never took his gaze off of me. I realized that I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe. This is how I'm gonna die. My feet said, go. My body said, you're not. And I was just frozen to the ground. I'm weighing out my options. Finally, it came to me that as I started getting some of my bearings back about me, that I needed to go. I'm looking over my shoulder to make sure he's not coming. It has no place I can hide. I'm running like crazy. He's gonna get you here. He's already up here and he's gonna step out and he's gonna get you. What am I gonna do with my rod and reel? That was given to me by somebody that was special to me at the time. So I got it, and I took off like there was no tomorrow. I could not breathe. I was shaking, crying uncontrollably. My whole face was just soaking wet. Did this really happen? Was this really real? And your answer is always yes. My world had been messed up because not only was it to the point that it affected me physically, but psychologically. It was actually a Bigfoot. So it made me realize these things are here.
That's when I first knew that Matt was really scared because he blocked the stairs. Boy, something really spooked you. And coming out of the woods back there, I saw this black thing.
Over here.
And we see this creature. It was crawling. The moon was really bright that night, so it lit up the entire backyard, but only good enough to where you could see the figure, but you couldn't see, like, details of it.
What is it?
I don't know. Bear?
Look at those shoulders.
Its shoulders were really, really broad, really wide.
I was terrified because my body knew it was something different. It stood straight up.
He was huge.
Taller than any human. It was something I'd never seen before, and it freaked me out.
And it just started walking on two legs like a human.
It's coming right towards us.
And that's when I started freaking out. Whatever it is, it's coming for the cabin.
I was terrified, and now I can't move. I don't want to take my eye off of this thing to know what it's gonna do.
I was just ready to scream.
and it stopped and got back into crawling on all fours.
And then all of a sudden, he just went right back, like disappeared right into the deepness of the woods.